They say it is a blessed existence for those who can find their true calling and live out their days in pursuit of it. Alexander has always felt that his job, teaching chemistry at Montresor University, was more than just a career, but his life's path. To share his life's knowledge and be an example in his students' lives wasn't just a choice, but his raison d'etre. His work had always made him proud of himself at the end of each and every day. Although lately, Alexander's days have been overcome by a sardonic shadow, and his once prized profession now existed solely in penumbra. And just what lie at the heart of this dark cloud? Why, one of his very own students, Diego. It started off simply enough. Silly, childish jokes uttered in class that seemed to trigger a cascade of chittering laughter from the rest of his students, interrupting his esteemed lessons. But that was just the beginning. After class, Alexander would find his office covered in graffiti, only for him to leave his office to find his car vandalized. Such occurrences happened repeatedly, and although there was no evidence regarding who actually did it, the professor had no doubts. For sure, it was Diego, either alone or with the help of some of his friends. To suffer these continued insults was one thing, but Alexander was in his 60s and had just recently lost his wife. Now he had no one to help him deal with his problems, or even just to commiserate with. That, and he was encroaching closer to retirement, and these were definitely not the last memories he wanted to take with him to his big, lonely house when thinking back about the legacy that he'd be leaving. As a clown, one who's disrespected by a spoiled young man who knows nothing about life. But sometimes, the universe has its own way to balance things. Alexander sometimes likes to relax by driving his Mercedes throughout the streets at night, letting classical music fill the car. These nocturnal excursions have been a balm on his growing battles with sleeplessness. Stress and solitude are terrible, especially when acting in tandem. It's during one of these nights that the professor is surprised by seeing a young man walking alone on the streets. It's about 1 a.m. There's no one else to be seen. By the way the young man is stumbling along, it seems that he is most likely drunk or otherwise heavily inebriated. The good professor pulls into the shoulder, fully intending to offer the young man his help or give him a ride home. When the professor sees who the man is, he can't believe the coincidence. Yes, it's Diego. Within a few seconds, ideas start to assault Alexander's mind. Good evening. A little late to be walking alone on the streets, no? Do you need a ride? Alexander asks. Diego is so drunk, and it's so dark that he doesn't even recognize the professor. Oh, yeah, that would be great, thanks, Diego answers. Get in, Alexander says, unlocking the door to the back seat of the car. Diego clambers inside. So where can I take you? Alexander asks, and Diego mumbles the address. But the professor isn't planning to take Diego to his place. So where were you? You seem to be confused, the professor says. I was at a party. I had too much to drink. It's part of the deal when you're a college student, right? Diego answers and laughs. Absolutely. Due to the darkness, Diego has no idea that the professor is now parking his car inside his private garage. Now, no one can see them. We arrived, the professor says as he leaves the car. And just as Diego is getting out, the professor swiftly punches the young man right in the stomach. Caught by surprise and drunk, Diego is helpless and can't even scream when the professor starts tying his arms with a rope that he's kept in his garage. Even within a few moments, everything was planned wisely by Alexander. Now who's laughing? Alexander says as he looks Diego in the eyes. As the lights of the garage are now switched on, the young student sees the face of his aggressor. It's you, the chemistry teacher, Diego spits. Yes, the one that you've been trying to drive insane. And you know what? Congratulations, because I think you were successful, the teacher answers. And he is now frog marching Diego to a small door to the side that leads down to the basement. The professor gives Diego a shove and watches with no small amount of amusement as he topples down the stairs, smacking his head against an old crate of wine. Still smirking, Alexander turns to close and lock the door behind him. Feeling an incredible adrenaline rush, the professor hunches over a dazed Diego and manacles a chain around his ankle. A very long chain, as if Diego were a dog. As you can see, the basement has a bathroom. The chain is long enough for you to use it. If you behave, I will give you food and fresh water every day, the teacher says, with a wicked smile on his face. Madness has finally consumed Alexander. But Diego, on the other hand, is recovering from his drunkenness. But it's already too late. He is trapped, and trapped well. What do you mean every day? Okay, old man, I get it. You scared me. I admit it. It was a good prank. We're even. I won't bother you again. Oh, you want more? I can pay you. My parents are loaded. Now, let me go, or else. Diego shouts in fear. Or else what? No one can hear you down here. This basement is soundproof. I don't need your money, and I don't need your respect, because I doubt you even have the capacity for it, the teacher answers. What do you want from me then? You want to kill me? That's it? Oh no. I'm a very lonely man since my wife died. Remember her? The woman you mocked repeatedly in class? But now, all is forgiven. Because you are going to become my pet, and you will keep me company. Forever. Maybe in time, as we get to know each other, a friendship can blossom between the both of us. If you behave, I will treat you well. Let's say a pillow and a blanket, and some food. The first days and nights will be tough, but then you'll get used to it. Maybe I'll even bring you a TV and books. Just remember, always use the bathroom. Don't make me punish you. No! You're mad! Diego shouts. But it's useless. Diego thrusts himself bodily against his restraints, wailing and screaming at the top of his lungs. But no one hears, and no one is coming to rescue him. The professor hums a playful tune as he climbs the basement stairs and turns off the lights. Diego is now Professor Alexander's human pet. Maybe in time, indeed, he will get used to it.
Subscribe today, or beware.